Welcome back, everybody. I have a quick video for you today. For this month's complete set presentation, I decided to do something a little bit different. I don't often show modern stuff on this channel, but this is actually a modern project that I completed back in 2020. When I got back into the hobby, I was really drawn towards wanting to be able to do some heritage sets. I've actually only completed 2, but I still really like the heritage product. It's probably my favorite product. I'll talk a little bit about it. But this is the 2019 Topps Heritage set, which is going to be based off the 1970 Topps design. A set which you've already seen featured on the channel, a season for which that was pretty recent, so I probably don't need to go into great detail to describe it. But let's kind of jump into it, and I'll just kind of quickly go through some of the cards. As you can see, it's based off the 1970 design, which is going to be all portraits, by and large, and dual rookie cards. Also, we have the World Series champions, which featured up here, which would have been the Boston Red Sox after the 2018 season. And then there's going to be some differences based on what's popular within the heritage product these days than what it was on the base set. First thing that stands out to me is that you don't have manager cards. So manager cards obviously are a big part of all vintage sets for Topps for the most part throughout their history. But they're absent from modern day products, and especially the heritage products too don't have them featured. So they have a ton more players put in here, and often the heritage sets are much larger than the heritage sets when they were first released. And they include teams that didn't exist back in 1970, as you'll kind of go through here, like the Nationals, for example, would have seen Expos cards at that time. So we'll just kind of jump through it and kind of go through it. Maybe I'll point out some of the things that I like about it. I like all the portraits. I really do like the portrait photographs more than the action photos, although action photos can look really cool. I like seeing the close-ups of the players. So you got CC Sabathia on there. The nice part about heritage sometimes is they do have like players maybe at the end of their career kind of tucked in here that you don't see featured in other sets. Here we have Cody Bellinger. It was a big start that time, obviously. Kind of got his career back together this past season. Here's Evan Longoria, who was close to winning a World Series, but fell short again. I think his career is probably now over. I heard he's probably going to retire at this point. I'm going to jump through here, point out any cards of kind of note. So the way the heritage product is set up now, and this isn't new to people who probably collect heritage, is the first 400 cards in the first initial release are considered the low series cards, which is different than the original product when it came out, as we know, which was released over several series. And then the last 100 cards of that first release are going to be short prints, and they do a similar thing with the second series. What I don't necessarily like about that, even though it creates some chase cards, but in order to be able to print enough of those cards to be able to have people collect sets, you get a ton of these. A lot of these cards really don't hold a lot of value as a result of it. As you can see, the batting league leaders cards and all these things are set up very similar to the 1970 Topps design. In fact, it's identical. So this will have a lot of future Hall of Famers, I bet, once we get to seeing all these guys reach Hall of Fame status when their careers are over. Got Mookie still with the Red Sox. There's a lot of variations of the cards. I couldn't even begin to tell you all of them, but some of the more common ones are like the chrome variations that they have. Not every player gets one of those, which is different. Then they all have like the black cards that are out of 50 that aren't numbered. They have different team names sometimes on here, or different colors. They have nicknames on here, variations. None of those are going to be featured within the base set except for the action card. Those it will pick up along the way. So we'll just kind of go through this pretty quickly, and I'll kind of point out some interesting things. Got Rich Hill still active, looking for a team. Oldest player in baseball. Strasburg no longer active, retired this season. Gold Schwarber there. I think it's really cool when you get some of these parallels of these players, but you have to go through a lot of product in order to get some of the ones, the parallels in general, but especially sometimes the parallels that you might want. And if you're really trying to get like a Trout parallel, it's going to cost you a lot to be able to get it because he's such a popular player. That might be a better strategy, just pay up than like continuing to open boxes. Because what do you do with all these? You know, at this point, if you have tons and tons of these base cards, yeah, you could sell them out if you have enough sets for people to purchase, but a lot of them just kind of sit in people's collections because they don't know what to do with them. Got Devers up there. Justin Turner, who's a free agent again. See where he might end up. One thing I noticed when I was putting these sets together is that I don't know a lot of the modern players as I was putting this together. It was a good way of trying to get to know them, but still it was kind of hard to get to know them. Good old Tommy Pham. Just saw a lot of him during the World Series. Here we go. We got highlights from the National League Championship Series here. One in which the Red Sox faced the Dodgers. So we got the Red Sox advancing. It's Marcus Semien. A great World Series and playoffs for the Rangers. Todd Frazier, who's no longer active. My guy Tim Anderson, who just was released by, or it wasn't released, he was bought out by the White Sox, so he's a free agent now. Hope he has a good renaissance to his career, whoever he signs for. He's a good player, and he's a good guy in the clubhouse. I know sometimes people think otherwise about him, but he really is. Kind of sad to see him go. Go a little bit faster here, so you guys can see the additional stuff I included in this set. These are not as necessarily as interesting, I would say, as the old sets, the vintage sets I put together. So this card's interesting, the Pat Nishdash, because it's based off of a card from 1970 where somebody has dark sunglasses on, which is kind of a funny card from that set. So they recreated it with this picture and this image, which I think is pretty funny. And we got Dustin Pedroia. I think that was when he was still trying to make a comeback, but he wasn't an active. He was an active player, but he wasn't really able to play much at that point because he was dealing with his knee injury. It happened when Manny Machado slid into him, breaking up a double play. Our first Gold Cup card here, I believe. With a World Series hero from the previous year, Stephen Pierce. So that's one of the things I don't necessarily like about the Heritage set, is just how much it's overproduced. So that's probably like maybe my big thing. The manager cards being absent is another. Other than that, the things I like about it is it's based off designs of cards that I really enjoy. So I have the 2019 and the 2020 sets. Here we got the World Series. Red Sox celebrating. Good old Yohan Moncada. They also have cards where they're wearing like different vintage uniforms that are throwback cards. Those are like really scarce to be able to pick those up. If you get one of those. Oh, poor Anthony Rendon. Maybe he'll be healthy this year. We'll see. Speed it up a little bit. Then we have our All-Star cards based exactly off the design from 1970. My boy Jose Abreu's got one. Judge and Trout, Mookie Betts. It's a pretty good selection of players right there. Machado up in the corner. Don't miss him. Or Ramirez or Scherzer. Okay, we're coming up on the short prints for the first series. Which begin with Francisco Lindor. So these are going to have a little bit more value because they're a little bit harder to be able to get. I believe in retail, it's 1 in every 3 packs. I think that's also the frequency of which you get them out of hobby boxes. So not super rare, but more difficult to pick up. The action cards. Here's one action image I got here. Rizzo. Yelich, another. Bryce Harper, action image. Jacob deGrom, action. My guy Al Pujols. Bregman, an action photo. Looking forward to seeing Walker Buehler back on the mound next year. We got Ohtani. See what uniform he's wearing next year. Action image of Javi Baez. Boy, has he really kind of not become anything when he went on to his new team. Joey Votto is a free agent now. See if he finishes up his career with somebody else or if he just wraps it up. And Arenado. Miguel Cabrera. Just finished his career. Gold Cup card of Juan Soto. Pretty cool. Mike Trout. Had a lot of fun putting this together. You end up getting like a ton of like short prints of it, just by lot after lot to be able to get these cards put together. We got Ronald Acuna Jr., the last of the short prints, and now we're on to the high series. Kind of similar concept. It was, I think, 725 cards, and the last 25 would be short prints. But we do have rookies in this one, so there's like, this box has become kind of expensive. At least it was during the pandemic because of some of the names that had rookie cards in here, and you wanted to get one of their parallels or autographs. Starting with Vladimir Guerrero. Eloy was hot for a while. Pete Alonso, Fernando Tatis. We got an action image of Manny Machado. Action image of Bryce Harper with the Phillies. I like that one. Byron Buxton was the one I pulled out of a hobby box, which these were one per hobby box. It's a little bit more scarce to get those. The high series often is filled with a lot of guys once they get through the guys who change teams, guys you don't really know. Guys they think are going to be stars. Although there's a lot of guys on the first few pages that you see. Like Craig Kimbrell, for example, Clay Buchholz. Brian McCann near the end of his career here. Good old Wainwright, just finished up his career. And for some reason, they released all these guys together in the same team, which they didn't do in the previous releases. And I don't know why they did that. Because they didn't repeat it when you go into the next page. It's kind of broken up a little bit. I will say the nice part about the hobby box for the high series, at least at this time, I only really needed one, and I just had to buy a few other cards I needed to be able to finish off that part of the set. I guess people consider the low series, if you have 1 through 500, a complete set, and then this is like considered more of like the master set. And then there's the master set if you have all the inserts with it. And we'll get to some inserts in a minute, so I'll give you a chance to show you some of those. Okay, we're getting near the short prints for this one. There's one really cool one I'm excited to be able to pull out of here. I think the high numbers begin with Victor Robles. Yep, we have Andrew McCutchen. And that's the Ichiro. Got the Ichiro action card, which I really like. Which is his last season. This was the season where he just played a couple innings in the games over in Japan, kind of to say goodbye both to his fans of Japan, but also Major League Baseball. Then he hung it up. Then we have these scratch-off books. I think these were retail items, if I'm not mistaken. We got Freddie Freeman, Molina, Rizzo, Voto. These are the regular base cards for the ones that had action shots in my set. Candy Lid, which is another retail one. And here we go, we have some of the chrome cards, and we have that like black card too I'll talk a little bit about. So these are mostly the purple ones that I've picked up in lots. When I was trying to get short prints, they would just throw everything together. But there's some fun ones in here. I think the Heritage set from 2019's got the purple parallels look really cool. And then I think the refractors look even better. So some of the ones I really like are the Altuve, obviously. Really good ball player there. The Blake Snell is actually a refractor. The regular chrome refractor. Walker Buehler I think could be pretty cool if he gets back on the mound and pitches like he has up to this point in his career. The DeYoung was a really cool one that I got that in a box that my friend gave me on my birthday. It's out of 50. I think it's out of 50, or it's out of 70, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, he's really struggling in his career, but it's still a cool looking card. I have the Abreu of this. I'm not sure if it's in this binder, if I have it someplace else. So there's Molina. I also have Pujols too, his purple card, but it's not in here. We got Scherzer. That's a really cool one to have, in my opinion. Leonardo, Joey Votto, Miguel Cabrera. This is actually a foil card. This is actually a pretty rare pickup that I was able to get out of a hobby box that I opened with my nephews. Unfortunately, it wasn't Mike Trout, but it was something I thought could have been something at that time, but turned out not to be. Another Mitch Haniger. Oh, I do have the Abreu in here. And I also have his refractor somewhere, his regular chrome refractor. Here's a refractor of JT Realmuto, which is pretty cool. There's a regular chrome card of Ichiro. Then we have all the inserts that kind of come with it. I haven't completed the complete set of the inserts, so I'm not going to talk too much about those. But they're kind of cool. Especially when you get like a short printed insert. I don't think Heritage really has those necessarily. That's kind of cool seeing them all together. I'll show you Ohtani up there. These are cloth cards, also a retail. Two pretty good ones here, Verlander and Acuna. These are also retail boxes. These little tiny bazooka cards. Got Goldschmidt and Devers. And then we have memorabilia cards. So we have mostly jersey, but there's some bat cards here too. Nobody really kind of like screams out to you like, hey, this is a superstar here, except for Mookie Betts. Also have the Longoria out of 99, which is kind of cool. Devers out of 99, which is also cool. Bregman, bat card, pretty cool. I think the Whit Merrifield looks really cool because of the blue jersey they've listed here. I think that looks pretty nice. So that's pretty much it. The only other thing I wanted to kind of show you that I have from this set is some autographs that I picked up in some of these lots that I purchased over the years when I was putting this together during that year. Sometimes they throw the auto in there. So like the Cedric Mullins, I think, was an add-on for like $2. It's gotten a little bit more expensive since then. And then I got Michael Kopech, thinking that he might really have a nice career with the White Sox. It hasn't really come to fruition yet, but it's kind of cool to have a rookie auto nevertheless. And the one I picked out of a box on my birthday when I was opening that up with my friend during the pandemic was the Tony Oliva autograph, which I'm hoping to send off to SGC in the near future, just so I can kind of get it all graded, the autograph graded, and just put it into a nicer slab of a Hall of Fame outfielder. And I really like how they honor a lot of these guys with using their original card, and they'll have an autograph obviously on there for the living Hall of Famers that do want to participate in this product. It's a really nice chase for somebody like me who really likes the history of baseball to be able to get a player like this. This is equally as exciting for me as getting like one of the modern stars of the day. But I don't know, could be different for other people, but I just wanted to kind of show those out real quickly. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to reach out. I'm going to be heading out to the Chicago Sports Spectacular next week. I'll probably put a video out this weekend talking a little bit about that and maybe trying to set a time where I can meet up with other people. So if you're heading to that show, be on the lookout because I'm going to kind of put some information soon out there. And I would love to see people. So until then, have a great evening.